becoming a little personal.
What is your advice for people who struggles to be more authentic? What's your advice?
We're getting deep today.
Hey guys! Welcome to another episode of Creative Icebreakers, where we start with random conversations to end with a deep and meaningful one. We love getting personal.
Team, and we have a very special guest with us right now. She's one of the most influential women in Perth today, taking over social media one day at a time.
That was a big call.
Yes.
The pressure is on. I better say some good stuff.
Well, she constantly drives people to step out of their comfort zone and a constant motivator to a lot of entrepreneurs through social media.
Oh.
Social media mentoring, actually, and public speaking. She's the founder of Villa Management. Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll. Present to you, Brooke Vulinovic. Did I say that right?
You did so well. Hello, thank you for having me. Yes, now I feel like I should be in like a costume or something.
No, it's good.
Get all the
We're very, very grateful that you agreed to come and do this for us.
Oh my god, my pleasure. Thanks for asking me. Happy to be here.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so when we start off with an icebreaker. So we start off with a random kind of question. So Jens, prepare something for us.
that. Okay, so our icebreaker for today is, what is that one underrated quality you find appealing in a person? Let's start with Brooke.
Okay, I'm really excited about this. This is, especially in the social media time and digital time, I feel like a very underrated quality is people who know how to take a good photo on their phone and find good lighting that do not have any photography experience or videography experience, and they just get it. And you're like, show me how to do what you just did?
Yep.
Very underrated.
Very true. I agree.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I thought you'd be impressed.
Yeah.
I like that. All that, hype before was really worth it. All the
Totally.
is completely gone now. So
Right?
Yeah.
Did you expect me to say that?
No.
Did you expect it to be something about food?
I don't know,
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
random, but I did not expect something related to photo or video.
Well, I thought, our title
It's
is...
so raw, like it's true. It's
Yeah.
actually true.
Well, there is actually a big community out there that actually uses iPhone just for business. And they do all the professional photos and everything else.
Really?
even
Food
like
photos, social media photos, interviews, they all do on iPhones.
Like light itself is underrated to a lot of people. People
Totally.
think that we can easily just fix it in post, but like if you know how to read light, you get the shot straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just natural lighting.
Yeah.
Like natural lighting is the best for everything. Yeah. Set here in a studio under about 10 non-natural lights. This is the second best.
next in line, next in line.
Maybe next time we'll do it outside.
I know. Our original concept wasn't like this at all. It was like on a couch or something like that. It was very basic.
This is a close second.
Yes.
We need to take advantage of the studio,
100%. And studio lighting is incredible.
Yes.
Yes.
But I think we're all equipped with smart devices now, where I think we underestimate the power of our phones.
Yes.
You'll think, let's just take a photo, fine. But I think if we use it to our advantage and think, how can I actually use this and get a great photo? I think that's the main thing. The power is right in our pocket or in our hand. We've got the device right there to use, and it's about really using that to our advantage and actually learning how to make that more powerful and take some great photos as well. So I think that's
And like 90% of the time, the one thing you can do differently to go from an average photo to an amazing photo is the lighting.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's the one thing.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
There's a lot of things that you can achieve with just lighting, like in specific lighting, and people look so different. The right lighting makes you look so young.
It's the mood. The mood.
totally. Your skin, you go from like looking 20 years younger to 20 years older, just with a different direction of light and shadow.
It's crazy.
I don't know about you, but I don't know any women who are 20 years older.
What about the app that makes you older?
That was horrifying. That was horrifying.
That was like a reality check.
That's for you. I don't recommend it. In fact, I put out a post saying I do not recommend that you do this. And I don't know who thought it would be a good idea. Obviously,
by the way, today we have Justine instead of Matt. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you. I've been excited to come. Thank you.
Well, what is your underrated quality that appeals to you?
This is something that I would just say generally in a person themselves. So I think we all think it's attractive to meet someone that's humorous or appealing to find someone that's humorous. But I actually think that's kind of an underrated characteristic. I think people go, oh yeah, it's nice to meet someone that's funny. But what does that actually mean? Like, I think that shows that someone's really down to earth, and that I think you click with someone quite instantly when they're humorous.
And the energy is different as well, isn't it? Like, I mean, out of that, how I met Brooke was basically from a marketing conference that we did, and Brooke was one of the main speakers there.
Oh my god, I was
and
so
that
sick.
energy was like.
Do you remember how sick I was? I was so I had like the worst cold of my life, and I was literally like, how am I going to get through this? And then everyone's like, oh, your energy and blah blah blah. I was like, well, it was all cold and flu tablets. I was like, how am I even going to get through it without my nose running?
Oh.
Yeah, but it went really well.
It went really well. I couldn't tell the difference.
Reflect on it now.
I hope so.
You know what? I don't think anyone would have judged if you just shoved a couple of tissues up.
Well, I
your nose and
started it and I
you
just
know?
said, look, I have to be totally honest with you. I have tissues in my pocket and I'm not afraid to use them because it will benefit you if I have 2 tissues up my nose versus sniffling my whole way through this performance.
I just have a bit of a drip cover.
Yeah.
Inauthentic as well.
Yeah. Well, that's being authentic.
This is me.
This is me, cold and all.
Yeah.
What can you do? And then I had another keynote that night as well. And you know what colds are like. During the day, you can kind of smash it out, but by night time, I was like,
It just hits you. Yeah.
I'm going to die. But anyway,
It's like you were
managed.
last wedding when I had a wedding shoot, and then I was like physically okay during the day when I was sick, and then by the night I was like, oh my gosh.
Your body is just like, absolutely not. I am done.
Yeah.
I am not going to permit this to continue. But you do it anyway. Yeah.
We're so bad with our bodies.
I know. I try not to be, but you know.
What about you, Jen?
One of the underrated qualities I find, you know how like when you meet someone and you can just tell that they're genuinely interested in what you're about to say, instead of like that person who just asks you a question just so they can say something.
Yes.
So you mean you can read them
Sorry,
out?
I just said
Like,
yes.
you know,
so
Well, like people that talk to listen instead of, what is it? There's like
talk
a
to
saying.
answer.
Talk or listen to learn versus listen to respond.
Yeah,
Something like that.
That's a good
Yeah,
saying.
that's, and
Yeah,
it's
something like
very
that.
rare. I don't see a lot of people
Yeah.
like that, and it kind of makes you want to engage with them less, just because they're not really talking to you, but they're talking to themselves with just another person in the room.
100%.
That's how it feels like. So I think that's such an underrated quality that, for me, at least. But yeah,
I agree. I think it's hard to. Well, I think you know instantly when you meet someone, and you can definitely tell if they're not very interested in actually finding out about you, because they kind of hurry that question so you can quickly respond and say, "Oh, what about you? What do you do?" And then they're like, "Well,
Let me go
Now that you ask.
let's take a seat." And you can really tell with those people, and I think they're the ones where you go, oh, it would be nice if you just engaged with what I was actually saying and more respond and have a bit more of a fair conversation. Do you know what I mean? So I definitely think that's an underrated quality, to have someone that actually equally listens and asks or engages in what you're saying.
that's right. And I don't like stop talk to them, like not talk to them after that. I still let them, because I feel like some people may just want to vent or just wants to like release, but like you don't really get a lot of people like that at all. Not as much as I experience, you know. But yeah.
Cool.
How about
I knew you were gonna. But well, I just actually thought of it just now because I was like, that's why I was asking you guys. Think about my ideas. No, but I thought of I guess one underrated thing that I feel like people are not, I guess, doing as much is remembering a person's name.
Oh, that's
That's a good one.
Well, I kind of remember faces more than names.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
again, certain
That's the
names
same
you
thing
just
with
stick to
me.
you.
Yeah, because like I'm a visual person, I know the face more than the name, but I think I appreciate a person when they actually remember my name, for example.
The trick is to say it 3 times.
That's why, like, every
That's
time
true.
like, when I say,
Yeah.
like, hello, hi, and then when they say, what was your name? And then I would repeat it back just so that I would, like,
Yeah.
come on. But then if it's a group, I struggle so hard.
I think especially when you're in a public place and it's quite noisy, like you say, oh, hi, what's your name? And you think you've heard them, but you really haven't. You're like,
Yeah.
nice to meet you, and you stop it, then you go, I really didn't hear you. Actually, probably not going to remember it next time you do that.
Which is, yeah.
There's a trick around that though.
What's the trick?
Ask for their number.
You add them on social media.
Yeah,
You just chat to them and then you
It's
remember
so
from
true.
there.
Social media helps remember
Yeah.
people's names so much. Or just even putting names to faces,
Just go,
especially
yeah.
with clients.
Yeah, I'll add you on LinkedIn.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
You can be like when you see them again, oh, like let me follow you, picture.
Instagram.
And then you
You're
see
like,
them.
oh, so this is it.
Yes.
I got you.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Whenever we go to like a party, I always say to Dom, if I don't introduce you, I don't know their name. So you need to take
Yeah.
that cue
Oh,
and introduce yourself so I can be reminded of their name.
Oh, yeah.
That is so smart.
And I shouldn't be giving away my secret.
Yeah.
Good
So
one.
they would
Use
now
that
know.
There we go.
So no, so she didn't get my name.
Very good tip.
What about Izzy?
For me, I guess one of the most underrated one would be staying humble.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So true.
No matter how big you are, you still have to be quite humble about what you do and what you provide to the community or what you do to other people as well.
Mm.
So that's my kind of point of view. Yeah, that's pretty deep. It hits me in the Yeah.
But I think that's a really good point. Like the way you treat the receptionist should be the same as the way you treat the CEO.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Absolutely. Totally agree.
Yeah,
Cool. So
Sick.
can we move on?
let's move on.
Yeah, I guess that's
So
right.
moving on to the topic, for those of you who weren't with us in our first segment, we're the Iceberg Media team for our creative Icebreakers, and together we're here with Brooke Vilinovich. Yeah, I got that one right. Roll it off the tongue. See, repeating it 3 times.
Yeah.
3 times.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah.
Good one.
I actually had to do that so many times when we first got you in. It's like we booked her. We're like, okay, how do you say her name?
So then you set up a workshop.
I'm not gonna lie, sometimes if I don't know how to pronounce a word that just looks way too complicated, that Google search and you can like click to hear the word.
Oh,
That does help.
That's great.
Unfortunately though, it doesn't really work for
Names.
last names to
Yeah.
search.
Maybe I should make my own, like a YouTube video. Welcome to 5 steps to pronouncing my surname.
And break it down into the
Yeah, maybe.
You know what?
That's a good idea. You're onto something.
Listen to that.
Okay, well, right. We're moving on to our today's topic, how to be authentic in an inauthentic world. So I really like that because obviously our guest goes around the social media realm, and how do you stay authentic in an inauthentic
There's so
world?
many
Going
ways.
straight away.
Okay, I have a couple of ways. So hang on, let me answer the question first about like how much you should put online.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to your like what you're using social media for.
Yeah.
Like if you're using social media as your business, then really, you need to go through the steps of what are your goals of social media, who's your ideal client, and then basically what you're sharing of yourself. Are they going to find it beneficial? Is it adding value to them in some way? If it's not really adding value to them and helping their lives and improving their lives, then maybe that's something that you shouldn't be sharing on social media, or perhaps you could be sharing on your personal private account rather than a business account. Because otherwise the lines get a little bit blurred there of what's appropriate and what's not. I always I try to think like, is this going to improve the life of the person reading it? And that sort of differentiates between like, I'm just having a rant, or there's a purpose behind this content and
like
it's
how you have
purpose
value
driven.
to it.
Totally, because it all comes down to whether you have valuable content or not.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then there's a little activity that I do, a branding activity that really helps you to, I guess, identify what your sort of authentic brand voice is, and also keep it consistent. So I call it your brandinality. So it's the personality of your brand,
Oh,
right?
Oh, I like
That's
that.
Thank
like
you.
that, yeah.
Thank you.
Copyright.
Thanks, guys. Copyright. So the activity is to basically to humanize your brand, to describe it in 3 adjectives, and how you would like to be described in 3 adjectives.
Okay.
So they become your brandinality words. So my brandinality words that I would like people to, well, I like to think that I'm these words, and I would like to hear other people describe me as these words. Sometimes they don't, but you've got to start somewhere. My brandinality words are funny, witty, and sassy, because my husband always calls me sassy. He's like, you've got your sassy pants on today. But that's my brand, you know. I'm not super professional, absolutely not. I'm not luxurious. I'm not zen either. Like I'm those words. And for example, if I'm like writing a post for Instagram and thinking, okay, I've got sort of the point of what I want to share across, but now I've got to add my brand voice to it.
Yeah.
So I'll revise it and just make sure, is it funny, or can I make it funny? Is it witty? Can I make it witty? Is it sassy? Can I make it sassier?
So it's
And
always going down to that root.
yeah, and that means I stay authentic to who I am, because there's no
Yeah.
point me trying to be
Ah.
something I'm not.
Yep.
And it also keeps it consistent for my followers,
Yeah.
because they know what to expect. You know, if I started sharing posts that were like all about the ocean and like and calm, my followers would probably be like, "Are you all right?"
And
Yeah.
who's done your social media take?
Yeah.
Well, it was me, but I.
You know, and that's not to say that like there are moments where I don't feel like myself, or I get down as well, you know. Sometimes you just don't feel funny, witty, and sassy. I have my non-funny, witty, sassy days, and that's when I'm like, I should probably not be posting today,
Yeah.
you know?
Post when you feel more like yourself.
Yeah,
The tone does change a little bit as well.
totally.
And I think it's important, back to what you're saying about like posting what you think would, like your audience would find valuable, is actually reading it yourself and going, if I was my target market or my target audience, would I actually find this valuable?
Totally.
If you read it and you go, well, I just think this is a good chuckle, but it's not actually showing anything. There's no
Totally.
message to it. There's no
It's
value
not
to
purpose,
it.
you know.
Then you definitely know yourself. Like putting yourself in your clients or your
Business
audiences.
shoes.
Yeah.
I like to, when I've like written a post caption, I like to imagine that I was texting that to my client,
Yeah.
because that also helps you to think like, what would they respond?
Yeah.
Would they respond like, I don't care, fuck off?
Yeah.
Then maybe you need to change what you're saying.
Yes.
But it does help. It
Yeah.
like changes your mindset
Yeah.
a lot, because it makes it conversational as well, which that's what digital is. It's a platform to have a conversation.
Yeah.
So sometimes there's little words or phrases or things or questions that you can add in, which end up improving the engagement and reach of the post,
Exactly.
which perhaps you wouldn't have done before.
That's right. Yeah. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's really good.
Yeah. I think ours one when we first thought of it was the create, inspire, and grow.
Yes.
That's kind of what symbolizes what we created in the first place. Was the iceberg actually has a meaning on it.
Yeah.
If you look
I
at the logo,
like
it's
it.
actually it's an iceberg above the water, but
Yes.
a lot of companies don't understand what's underneath
What other-
and how we can recover it. And there's also a play button on it.
Ah,
Yeah.
clever. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at you go.
So yeah.
Iceberg Media. Plugging.
I like that story. That's really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we kind of took a while to get that. I think our original concept was actually got to do with iris.
Yeah, we
Eyes.
It is-
yes, because
Okay.
that was our first like brand name thinking. Oh, what should we name our brands? Like we were thinking Iris, because obviously photography, videos, everything's gotta
Makes
do with
sense.
visuals and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But then I don't know, Iceberg just came out.
Thanks to the non-creative
I like
who thought of that.
iceberg.
My
Yeah.
wife who thought of that. So yeah.
It's like Iceberg.
Don't say I didn't give you credit for it.
Clever.
Yeah.
She can stay.
Yeah.
She earned her place.
Yeah.
I love it.
But I have a question. Like, how do you, like, for those who's kind of missed that part, you know, obviously in that journey of like social media management, for example, sometimes we forget to stay within true to our roots or true to our purpose, like, or like we get too caught up with so many things that are not necessarily within what we want to actually share, because other people actually use social media to just as an outlet for what they feel like, you know. Sometimes that's how it, some people actually try to, are too personal when it comes to that. But what are ways for them to get back to, you know, their roots when they're already down deep and like not really aware of what they're doing? Do you have some tips?
Yeah,
I'm not saying that
as in like people maybe are responding and being like, well, this is too personal, chill.
Yeah.
Well, chill to begin. Stop, drop, and roll. Do you remember that from primary school?
Yeah.
If you're on fire, you stop, drop, and roll. You're on digital fire, so stop. Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Just there's a lot of people that should have a diary rather than a social media account. But like journaling, I feel like journaling is the new trend, which really was just having a diary.
Yeah.
So maybe moving the personal stuff into a journal if they still feel like they have to get it out.
Yeah.
And a good activity as well is look at the people that you admire and then really stop and think about, why do you admire these people? What are the qualities in these people, or the business leaders, or even just people in your personal life that you admire on digital? And what are those qualities? And how can you really bring that into what you're doing as like a guiding, a guideline, a guide point?
So she was like listening the whole time.
She was like
listening. It's so profound, like honestly. Because okay, how about
I find it so funny that someone called stuff I say profound.
actually it's
You're like, oh my gosh, I'm actually deep. Saying wise words.
we're all in social media and we're all trying to portray a certain image of ourselves in social media. And these are things that we just not think about at all. Like just trying to, because we forget that there are people that kind of attach that image to the real us in real life. And sometimes when we forget to, we start, let's say, venting. So I've vented online before, and I forget that people kind of associate this to who I really am, but it's just that me at that time, you know. And it's good. It's so good. Like,
I used to vent before with online when I was younger.
not really.
And that's why you have friends. So we vent to our friends. I think like one of the best compliments that I can ever get, and I think anyone can ever get, is if they've been following you online and they meet you in real life and they're like, oh my God, you're exactly the same as the way you are on Instagram. And I'm like, oh, cool. And then they're like, I hate you on Instagram and I hate you in real life. No, I'm just kidding. But, you know, that's a really good compliment, because that means that you are being 100% authentic and 100% true to yourself.
But that's so scary, because like you're gonna be so vulnerable. Like how do you?
I mean, in a business sense, you need to be vulnerable, because that's what people connect to and they can relate to, and it's a really endearing quality, and that helps to gain the trust of your followers. And ultimately, if you want to make sales off social media, you need the trust of the people that follow you. You need them to trust that you're the expert, trust that you're the best, trust that your products or services are the right ones for them. So how else are you going to gain that trust? You know, if you can't start with you, and you can't start with just being authentic to who you are, then there's nowhere to build that trust from.
Wow.
How about if it's like a personal account, like so this
Personal
is
blog.
business, like how much vulnerability should you let out?
I mean, I guess, I totally see what you're saying. I mean, when it's personal, you can kind of do whatever you want. But I guess being prepared to deal with the backlash that
I've seen a lot of people that goes through every year and just deleting people that they don't communicate with.
Deactivate accounts.
I mean, but that defeats the purpose of having social media in the first place. You know, it's the main reason of having social media is to connect with people.
Absolutely.
You know? If you don't have that connection with people, just
write a book.
Yes.
Or something.
Hi guys, I'm off to write a book.
Like, still get all your vents out, but maybe turn it into something else.
There's actually a question that's probably come up from me that I'd like to ask as well. So for someone that's just say having their own personal account and they don't have a lot of content on there, but they are trying to build up the content. What would you give as a piece of advice to them that they still want to stay true to themselves without flooding all this content and without having so much out there that they think, oh, I don't really want everyone to know this, but I want to just have a good feed that represents me and to show people what my sort of journey or where I've been and my values. What sort of advice would you give for that?
Well, I think exactly that. Just share your story.
Yeah.
Because
that connects with people as well.
yeah, and you can't go wrong. And yes, there will be people that it doesn't connect with, but then they're not your people.
That's true.
But there's billions of people on social media, so I'm sure that you will find some that do connect.
You find someone that at least, because that's nice.
Thumbs up, good job.
Yeah.
I also noticed also your recent post about how you don't really need a lot of followers to make
Sales,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't. I've got, social club members with like 200 followers making sales.
Yeah.
Because it's about identifying your message, identifying your customer, sharing content that they're going to like, and whether you've got 100 followers or 100,000 followers, it doesn't matter how many you have. If you've got that process and that alignment right, and you've got the content that's connecting with the right person, that's all that matters.
Definitely.
Ultimately.
Quality over
Yeah.
quantity.
Yep.
And do you know what though? I think people look and go, oh, this person's got, that many followers, they would be killing it. But the reality is, like, if those followers are not their actual target audience or the people that are really aligning with the brand's message, they're not going to get very far. I think that's a bit of a misconception as well.
Absolutely. And I think people, they're so caught up with having more, they don't really quantify what more is. Like, even if you have 1,000 followers, I just spat. 1,000 people is a lot of people.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having access to 1,000 customers at your fingertips?
Yeah.
Instead of just wanting more, work on that 1,000.
Yeah.
Because 1,000 is huge.
Yeah.
If you've got 1,000 sales, 1,000 bookings, 1,000 inquiries, 1,000 anything, that's a big number.
Yeah.
So focus on what you have instead of always thinking the grass will be greener if you have more.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I like that.
Even 1,000, even 100.
Yeah.
100 is huge. If I got 100 customers in the next hour, we'd all be going out for cocktails.
Yeah.
I think people 100 maybe,
Yeah.
but I think people forget that.
Yes. Yeah. I think they really do. I think it's all about sort of just shaping that perspective as well, and and really understanding the power of that.
That was a really good question. Yeah.
Good question.
I was gonna ask something a little personal. No, it's more of like, was there a time where you weren't authentic to yourself?
Ooh.
That is
Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, like, how did you get over it? How did you
Okay, here's a good one.
overcome that?
I don't know if inauthentic is the right word, but when I started my business, it was originally event management.
Ah, okay.
Oh, wow.
So that was my background,
Yeah.
and I was using social media as a way to promote the events. And when you start your own business and you're looking for inspiration, motivation, and so you start finding these sort of motivational business people online and books and things, and listening to whatever podcasts or interviews, and everyone talks about like they found their purpose and it's great and blah 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 blah. And I never felt like that. Like, I enjoyed what I was doing. I love running events, but I didn't feel like, I don't know, something just felt, it felt like there was a piece of the puzzle missing. And then it wasn't until I actually started teaching social media that I felt like, okay, this is it. This is what I'm meant to be doing. And then I gave away the event work and went full tit, as they say. Into social media, sorry. How into social media. And now I feel the way that all these motivational people talk, I feel like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So,
It's kind of like you've discovered your true self. That's your journey.
And then once you do, everything that you're doing just becomes easier. You know,
Like it falls into place.
it falls into place.
I think that's because you have passion to back it as well.
Yeah, that's the
Also, just like your business should be fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
You should have fun every day. And
Yeah.
I think the word passion gets a bit overused. Like, what is passion?
Yeah.
I can be passionate and angry.
Yeah.
I don't want to live like that.
And you need to be motivated as well.
Yeah. I want to be having fun and
Yeah.
love what I do and get out. I mean, obviously, there's parts of like anything. There's things I have to do in my business and I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Emails.
Taxes.
Tax Bass sucks. Anyway, but as a whole, I want to have fun. You know?
Yeah. Which is why we outsource our tax returns.
Yeah.
My wife is a tax accountant.
Oh my god, is she? Oh, no
She's
offense.
upstairs.
Bass is great.
No, like
ultimately,
already from the last
yeah. No, like ultimately, if you're not having fun in your business every single day, find something else to do.
Yeah.
Because on the days when it sucks and it gets hard and things don't go to plan, which absolutely 100% will happen. If it's not happened yet, it's coming.
Yeah.
And everything is falling apart around you. The only thing that's going to keep you going is that you love
The
what you
enjoyment and the
do.
fun factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good.
That's how when we started, we were like, oh, you know, when we post bride and grooms on wedding days, we're not like normal guys that just go stand there and do this.
Yeah.
We're like crazy monkey behind.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's about, right? If you've got this thing that consumes your
Yeah.
waking hours, you've got to enjoy it.
Yeah.
What's a life without a bit of fun?
Mm.
Yeah.
You know, you're not living.
That's right. That's right.
Wise
Change it
words.
up. Had discussion the other week.
That's true. We were talking about that. We're so
We got a bit philosophical.
yeah. What's like what's
Yeah.
what's your life motto
Indeed.
and stuff?
You have to take a pause on the work and be like, right, down to the nitties.
I guess
Obviously, we're all creatives here, but like being a creative and trying to work in that industry, you kind of need to have some kind of personality. What is your advice for people who struggles to be more authentic to themselves than
Wow.
to help them be more authentic to other people? Like,
more like to help them embrace the
yeah,
true
like
self,
confidence,
or-
really.
Embrace their confidence.
Yeah. Like, what's your
Whew,
advice?
we're getting deep today. I mean, it really does come back to that point that you can only be yourself and you can't be anybody else. And I think the more you reach out and use social media to connect and find people who, you know, you go for coffee dates or you meet up or you go to networking events, and
Yeah.
at the start it's really hard and
It is hard.
it's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you find your people.
Yeah.
And maybe it starts with, like, when I started my business, I didn't know anybody. Nobody at all. And now I'll walk into a networking event and genuinely be blown away by the fact that I know most
She's
of
got
the people
spotlights on
in the
her.
room. Not like that. No, not like that. Oh my god. I didn't mean to say it like that. But just like to look around the room and think, like, 3 years ago I didn't know any of
Yeah.
you. But if I'd never put myself out there,
Yeah.
and you've got to make the effort because otherwise it just won't happen.
Yeah.
You know, so go to that first networking event, and yes, it's scary, but know that everybody else there is terrified too.
Yeah.
And you'll meet one person, and then they'll introduce you to another person, and then you'll go to the next event and meet
Yeah.
somebody else, and then before you know it, you have all these connections, and that in turn, I guess, feeds your confidence
Yeah.
that, okay, what I'm doing must be good, because otherwise these people wouldn't want to know who I am or wouldn't want to know
That's
anything
good.
about me. But that first step, is
First.
definitely the hardest.
Like,
Yeah.
push yourself.
Yeah,
Find
obviously
the
you have to push yourself. I mean, when we first started doing this photography and video, it was hard. I had
Yeah.
to push myself, but I ended up pushing Andrea to do more networking. And she has to
someone else.
she has to build her character, and then because we do networking a lot as well.
Yeah.
On a consistent weekly basis.
It's
and,
important. It's
Yeah.
a really
Yeah,
important
and it
part of
builds your character,
business.
and you have to stand up and speak to 20 other, 30 other people,
Mm-hmm.
and you just
I
force yourself to
read
have a new topic every
Yeah.
week.
Oh,
and-
she's seen that because
Yeah.
I invited her one time.
Yeah.
But you never know who, like, the reason I changed my whole business from events to social media is because I attended a networking event, met a bunch of business owners, and every single person I spoke to said that they were struggling with social media. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I just thought everyone knew what to do.
Yeah.
And look, my entire business changed after that.
Yeah.
So I just think, it's so important, especially when you are creative and work behind a screen or you work alone, you assume you know what people want. And 99% of the time, that assumption is wrong.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, so the only way to find out is to go out and talk to people and meet people and make sure that there's a market for what you're doing, or perhaps discover a new market, a gap in it that you can fill.
Yeah.
Which is what happened to me.
Just literally just be courageous, step up, and but most importantly, know your worth, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just stick to that.
And make that first step.
Yeah.
Don't focus on the big long-term
Yeah. Small stuff.
thing.
True,
Just
yeah.
focus on going to that first breakfast or that first event, or if you're at an event, speaking to one person and introducing yourself to one person. Like, don't stress about going from 0 to 1,000. Stress about going from 0 to 1.
That is so good. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I think it comes back to your advice before, is to actually like let yourself be a little bit vulnerable. So I think that would come back to that
for
as
sure.
well. Like
Totally.
Let
And
me-
some
At least you know that you're alive and being able to
Yeah.
have your heart pumping a little bit, and then you go,
Yeah.
I want to jump off to that next level up. And up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
say to
that's
people, this is my first event.
Yeah.
I'm terrified, because that vulnerability is what other people will connect to and be
Yeah.
drawn to and relate to.
Wow, I just had goosebumps.
But it's true, like everyone started from zero, everyone started from the bottom, everyone started not knowing anybody, and the only way to go from not knowing anyone is up, which is the best
that's
part.
true.
You can't know less people.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There you go.
Wow.
Awesome.
God,
Very good
thank you
insight.
so much for that.
You're welcome.
We learned so much
Anytime.
today.
I was just about to say, I guess like, you know, starting somewhere, and then when you look back on that, you think, well, my journey's been so great. Like, the bigger your journey will be.
Absolutely.
Start sooner than later and make those small goals, and then you end up reaching bigger goals. You know.
Yeah. And before you know it, you're 4 years in.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you go, gee, where'd the time go?
Well, Nike, just do it.
Just do it.
You said that in one of the
The
episodes.
first podcast, I was
Yeah.
like, just do it.
Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good tagline.
Yeah, it is. That's probably why they're doing so.
Did you know that the Nike, speaking of Nike, the Nike logo was originally $35, and it was the exact same tick, and they only paid $35 to a graphic designer for it. And
Wow.
now look
Wow.
what that is worth.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
It's such a
Read
good
it on
story.
something or saw it somewhere, and obviously it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that first person that would still be seeing that logo everywhere, you know, you
Like
forget
it.
about where brands begin. Like Nike was a small brand. That's all they could afford, was to pay $35 for a logo.
Yeah.
You know, obviously now they can probably afford a little more than that.
Yeah.
But it's that reminder that everyone starts somewhere.
Exactly.
That is
And I
cool.
think just making that start is
Mm.
really important, or, you know, kind of a big achievement, really.
Mm.
Because it does take a lot of confidence to just make that first baby step. But once you dip your toe in the water and get it going, you start swimming, and, you know, there you go, you've swum across the other side of the ocean and made a big achievement there. So,
Also-
do you like my little...
Yeah. No, for some poetic, philosophical moment. I love it. Okay, well then that ends today's episode.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any other questions?
No,
Do you have any questions for us? Or?
I don't think so.
Cool.
Do you
Awesome.
have any questions for me?
No, I think
I think
It's
we
all
did
very
it.
Very good
I've so
insight.
much. Learned so
I love
much.
it.
Well, thank you, Brooke, for dropping
Thanks
by.
for having me.
Thank you so
Thank you
much
so
for
much.
having you.
Loved it.
So for all you hearers out there still with us, thank you for tuning in. Till our next episode, take it easy till next time. This is Creative Icebreakers, and we're the Iceberg Media team. And signing out.
Bye.
Bye, guys!
That's a wrap up, guys. Thank you for tuning in for our Creative Icebreaker podcast with Brooke, lovely to have her here. So much wisdom shared in this table. Thank you.
Yes.
Please like and subscribe. And if you guys have any questions for us, please comment down below. And we're here to